What's up, guys? In today's video chat, we are going to talk about distilled water and the benefits of drinking distilled water and what it can do for you and your family and your own body. So first, let's talk about some of the myths that surround distilled water. And there are many myths about distilled water. I don't know if you guys remember that monkey experiment where they killed all the monkeys. All the monkeys died because all they had to drink was distilled water. Let's talk about that experiment. So one of the biggest myths about distilled water is that if you drink it, you will have seizures and die. Well, that is based off of a monkey experiment that occurred where there were several monkeys that were just given distilled water only, no food, nothing else, just distilled water for a month. Now, I don't know if you know anything about distilled water, but distilled water doesn't have minerals in it, okay? It doesn't have vitamins. It's got nothing. There's no impurities. There's no minerals. There's nothing in it. Well, most of the minerals and essential vitamins that we get and nutrients that we need to survive on a daily basis, we actually get from our food. We're not looking for distilled water to give us these, or regular water to give us these benefits. Some people might be, but generally where you look to get these benefits is from your food. So if you need iron, eat some red meat, right? Potassium, a banana. But I mean, these essential minerals and nutrients, we should generally be creating a diet that allows us to obtain these things from our diet. So first off, if you're looking for essential nutrients and diet and good minerals and things like that, eat some better food. There's some healthy foods you can eat. Try some nuts, all right? And they're going to give you a lot of the essential minerals and nutrients that your body needs to thrive. So these monkeys in this survey, they were left with only distilled water, which is naturally just pure water, only H2O, and nothing else. And so they had seizures and died. Well, that was because they starved the monkeys and didn't give them any minerals or nutrients, not because the distilled water. Goodness, even normal water would have they would have lived alive for a little bit longer because there are minerals in water, but they would have been starving to death, barely living. So really not a good study in the end. Go ahead and look that one up for yourself. Really wasn't a good one. It was peer reviewed though. Good job, peer reviewers. Yeah, my phone will do that as I drive. So it was peer reviewed, but just not a good study. So let's talk about what distilled water is and why herbalists recommend it for your diet and overall body health and well-being. It's a really good detox as well. Okay, so what is distilled water? So distilled water is water that has been boiled, reached its boiling point, and then it evaporated, turned into condensation, was collected. So as it evaporated, it was collected up here. It condensed back down to its water state after it was collected up here. And then after it's in its water state again, it's taken into a different container over here. Now, how does that happen? How does that even clear any minerals, or how does that even make the water pure? Well, it's because the boiling point of water is different than the boiling point of other minerals, okay? And different substances have different boiling points. So when water reaches its boiling point, it starts to evaporate. It goes ahead and just starts its evaporation phase. While the other minerals left in the container and the other contaminants left in the container, they haven't reached their boiling point yet, so they are not evaporating at this point. It's just still boiling down there for them, and they're hoping to reach their boiling point where they can eventually evaporate, condensate, and all of that, but it doesn't happen for them. So you've got your regular water sitting in your container, you're boiling it, you reach the boiling point of water, the water starts to evaporate, all the rest of the stuff still staying inside your container. That's what's going on there. So as the water evaporates, you just got that pure, really good water. You catch it in your container up top. It actually goes through a tube. It's a distillation machine is really what it is. I'll have to show you mine one time. You've caught that pure water up there, and then you separate it off by a siphon, cool it down. There's your distilled water. There's a lot going on there. Not only are you removing the impurities from the water, but you're also creating an open ion for the distilled water. And that open ion, anything it closes on, it's going to take with it and pull with it. So that's why you want to put it in your body and start drinking it, and it'll pull out impurities from your body as it moves throughout your system. And it's just a really pure, clean water. That's why they clean a lot of medical equipment. All medical equipment requires distilled water. Lots of anything clean requires distilled water. Now, again, the argument as to why you should not drink distilled water, especially for long periods of time, is because you will have seizures and die. Well, that won't happen as long as you're eating food. Okay, so you can drink the distilled water and also eat food, and you won't have seizures and die. But what you can't do is just eat crap. Okay, you're not gonna pull most of the food we eat as Americans is really not food, unfortunately. It's just crap that we're eating that's been dead for a really long time, and it's really bad for our bodies. That's why a lot of people's skin is really bad, is because when you're eating a lot of just really, really old, dead and decayed and just rotten things, it doesn't look really good on your skin, and there's a lot that goes with it. It doesn't help your body. Your blood's real crap. But you want to make sure that you're eating healthy foods in order to avoid things like that. So distilled water has a function, a detoxification function, and it does that on its own by just how pure and only water it is. So if you can drink the distilled water, and only the distilled water, remove the pop and any other juices and sugary drinks from your diet, you're going to start to feel a difference in the overall bodily function with the distilled water alone. I recommend just distilled water with your normal diet for at least a month. You will feel like your short-term memory comes back, it seems like you just start remembering those little things that always kind of slip your mind. You feel a lot less sluggish. You feel, one of the things I always notice with distilled water when I get right on it, I just feel energized. I feel like I have a ton of energy, and which is weird. You can still have like your black coffee in the morning. I wouldn't recommend coffee with like creamer or sugar, but you can have your black coffee and then just start sipping on distilled water. All right, sip on your distilled water throughout the day and just have that as your normal source of a drink. And then your diet, I always try to keep it as natural as possible, and nobody's perfect. All right, I mean, I go out to eat just like the rest of us and fast food it up just like the rest of us, but baby steps is key when you're talking about really big transitions in your life that are going to hopefully stay with you for years to come. Baby steps are key. So I'm not trying to, with the whole, it's not more of a diet. I really am trying to think of it in this. It's really not like a diet that you're going on. It's just a mindset change. And the mindset change is, I should be eating food. What I'm eating right now is not technically food. Although it's sustenance for my body, and my body is a beast, so it can handle it, it's really not food. What is food? Food grows all around us. So right now, what do I have a lot of that's food? I have a ton of tomatoes. I have a ton of cucumbers. What else? I have a ton of peppers that's food. Gotta see what that is. Oh, there I go again. Right, what do I really have that's food around me? It's plant material, okay? Or meat, right? There, you can go kill yourself an animal. That's food. That's natural food. Now, what have we created? All these like box dinners and stuff. Yeah, okay, that can make our body survive. But is it also kind of killing it? I don't know. Maybe, right? There's a lot we really don't know. We think we're so advanced as a society and as technical community and medical community. We're really not. We're really not that advanced. There's a whole lot medicine doesn't know. And why is it just up to them to find out, right? Why can't we do our experiments and try to find out too? But there's a lot of herbal tips and tricks that have been passed down from years and years and years. And especially if you look into traditional Chinese medicine and Eastern Indian medicine, there are a lot of things that we do in America that other countries just don't do. They don't find it to be healthy. And so maybe if we would start to look at some of those things that they do and see if they would work for us. So I don't know. I think that for me, at least, distilled water and the switch to distilled water and drinking mostly only distilled water has done nothing but provide me clarity, clear my mind. It really helps to decalcify glands in your body. So it moves glands, all that calcification that's built up over time, it really moves that around and gets that out of your body. The more pure water and pure liquid that your body has to help it function is what it's looking for. So if you can think of, I'm going to eat more of how my great grandma ate back in the day, that's better for you. So I try to do it as natural as possible, but again, there's going to be other foods involved in the diet. But the important thing to note when you're doing a distilled water detox is that you're going to need to find your vitamins and minerals from your food. You're going to need to source them from your food. And if you're not eating food that is healthy for you, you're not going to be able to source those vitamins and minerals that you're going to need to rely on during your distilled water detox. I don't think people are drinking pop for their vitamin and mineral value that the pop holds. I just don't believe that. I think they drink pop because they like pop. And I think that there are a lot of ways that throughout time people have used the news and the media sources to create one opinion about things. And without choosing any sides about anything, because I believe that they're all connected. Most people are a bunch of idiots, unfortunately. I hate to say that, but it's because they don't do their own research. It's not because they're idiots, because they choose to be. They're ignorant about their idiocracy, and they just go with the majority opinion that they hear most often. And that can change for everybody depending on what social media you're listening to. But most people are idiots because they just regurgitate something that they've heard without actually looking into it. So you can overcome your idiocracy, but yes, I was an idiot as well. I don't believe I'm an idiot anymore, but I do believe parts of me are still in that idiocracy stage where I don't know. There's tons of parts of me where I don't know, so I am still a huge idiot, but I guess I've accepted my idiocracy and I'm trying to overcome it. But what I mean by that is just because someone told you a story and about some study that occurred where all the monkeys died by drinking distilled water only, go read the study. Go read it. That sounds kind of weird. What happened here? Oh, okay, gotcha. They may even have not been fed for 2 months. Go read the darn study. I read the study years ago, and it was comical when I heard it. Was actually reading it and was like, is this what they're saying? Did they just throw in there that they also starved them for a month or two? I mean, it was very funny. But when you can become empowered enough like that to go look it up yourself and figure out if that actually makes sense, then you are on the right track to your personal health. And so that's one of the main things that I say to clients all the time is about distilled water. And it's because the distilled water can detoxify your body. Okay, there's a lot inside our body, and I'll do another little car ride session on intermittent fasting and what that is, and the spiritual meaning and scientific meaning and necessity of that, and we can talk about that later. But today this video is all about distilled water. One of my most highly recommended herbal remedies has got to be distilled water. I tell people about it all the time. So if you're looking for something, distilled water is just going to clear out all the gunk in your system. It clears that crap out. It allows it to move, clears it. It allows you to think more clearly. We talked earlier about your glands getting calcified. Well, there's a gland inside your head called your pineal gland, and when it gets calcified, it affects the all over functioning of your body, like the hippocampus and all these other really important brain pieces, like the brainstem in general. All of the synapses in the brain, they're all highly affected and impacted by the calcification of the pineal gland. And there's been a lot of research to show that calcification of the pineal gland leads to Alzheimer's. And why not look into that? Why don't we look into that as a people? Why don't I write an article and someone peer review it? You know, I think that, it hasn't been peer reviewed, no one's looked into it. Well, stop dismissing it right away and let's figure out, is this link a true link? Because there have been other countries that have done these studies and they're finding links. So USA, America, why don't we step up and let's find links too, so then we can use it too, and then we don't have to keep fighting these same urban legends for years to come, okay? And one of the urban legends is that you're gonna die if you drink distilled water only. Not the case. Well, yeah, if you drink only distilled water and eat no food, yes, you will die. Also, did you know that if you didn't eat food, you would die? I just feel like it's one of those dumb moments that we're using to just make it so no one uses a healthy ingredient like distilled water, and that's not what we should be doing. we should be helping each other out and trying to find ways that we can all become healthier. And distilled water is a really good resource to use. It will really help detoxify that pineal gland. It'll help detoxify all your glands, so your joints will feel better. You've got glands everywhere, and they really like to accumulate calcium. And so if you can decalcify those glands, you're going to be less achy, less jointy. There's just a lot of random pain people get when they're older, and a lot of it is because of calcification of the pineal, or not the pineal, calcification of their glands in general. So there's a lot of interesting information you can find out about distilled water in general. I definitely 100% recommend you go do your own research. That is the only way that you are going to know it yourself, is if you really, really go down that rabbit hole and dig into it. But another way is just by starting to drink distilled water. Slowly work it into your daily, routine and your healthy lifestyle that you're looking to lead, and make that one tiny baby step change. I find that it made a huge difference in my life, and it's one of the first things, like I said, I recommend to most clients, and so I think that you should try it too. If you have questions about distilled water, leave them below. I'd love to have a longer chat about it. But now it looks like I'm getting ready to start my day. I hope you do too. Good luck and good health. Talk to you later.